Jack London, The Unexpected, Part 5. Back and further back, Edith showed her husband. She had never seen him in such a condition, and she was more frightened of him than she had been of Deneen in the thick of the struggle. She could not believe that this raging beast was her Hans, and with a shock she became suddenly aware of a shrinking, instinctive fear that he might snap her hand in his teeth like any wild animal. For some seconds, unwilling to hurt her, yet dogged in his desire to return to the attack, Hans dodged back and forth, but she resolutely dodged with him until the first glimmerings of reason returned and he gave over. Both crawled to their feet. Hans staggered back against the wall where he leaned, his face working in his throat, the deep and continuous rumble that died away with the seconds and at last ceased. The time for a reaction had come. Edith stood in the middle of the floor, wringing her hands, panting and gasping, her whole body trembling violently. Hans looked at nothing, but Edith's eyes wandered widely from detail to detail of what had taken place. Deneen lay without movement. The overturned chair, hurled onward in the mad whirl, lay near him. Partly under him lay the shotgun, still broken open at the breech. Spilling out of his right hand were the two cartridges which he had failed to put into the gun, and which he had clutched until consciousness left him. Harky lay on the floor, face downward, where he had fallen, while Dutchy rested forward on the table, his yellow mop of hair buried in his mush plate, the plate itself still tilted at an angle of 45 degrees. This tilted plate fascinated her. Why did it not fall down? It was ridiculous. It was not in the nature of things for a mush plate to upend itself on the table, even if a man or so had been killed. She glanced back at Deneen, but her eyes returned to the title plate. It was so ridiculous. She felt a hysterical impulse to laugh. Then she noticed the silence and forgot the plate in a desire for something to happen. The monotonous drip of the coffee from the table to the floor merely emphasized the silence. Why did not Hans do something, say something? She looked at him and was about to speak when she discovered that her tongue refused its wonted duty. There was a peculiar ache in her throat, and her mouth was dry and furry. She could only look at Hans, who in turn looked at her. Suddenly the silence was broken by a sharp metallic clang. She screamed, jerking her eyes back to the table. The plate had fallen down. Hans sighed as though awakening from sleep. The clang of the plate had aroused them to life in a new world. The cabin epitomized the, 'the, 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 ' Thenceforth live and move. The old cabin was gone forever. The horizon of life was totally new and unfamiliar. The unexpected had swept its wizardry over the face of things, changing the perspective, juggling values, and shuffling the real and the unreal into perplexing confusion. "My God, Hans," was Edith's first speech. He didn't answer, but stared at her with horror. Slowly his eyes wandered over the room for the first time, taking in its details. Then he put on his cap and started for the door. "Where are you going?" Edith demanded, in an agony of apprehension. His hand was on the door knob, and he half turned as he answered, "To dig some graves." "Don't leave me, Hans." With her eyes swept the room with this. "The graves must be dug sometime," he said. "But you don't know how many," she objected desperately. She noted his indecision and added, "Besides, I'll go with you and help." Hans stepped back to the table and mechanically snuffed the candle. Then between them they made the examination. Both Archie and Dutchy were dead, frightfully dead because of the close range of the shotgun. Hans refused to go near the inn, and Edith was forced to conduct this portion of the investigation by herself. "He is not dead," she called to Hans.